It's like a flight delay. Hey, speaking of delays, sorry about that, folks.
And here we are.
Here we are. Welcome. Welcome to this wonderful Wednesday hump day version of the Marketing Happy Hour. I am Dr. Christopher Vogelman of Maximize Your Media, and I almost dumped water all over the desk just now. That's the beauty of live video. And also of Life Beyond Practice, which is our... Actually, Maximize Your Media is the digital agency. Life Beyond Practice is my coaching program for doctors who want to escape the exam room for a life of more free time, freedom, and fun with their own online business. And that's a done-for-you solution. With me today, as always, is my trusty co-host.
Here I am.
Hey, right.
How's it going?
All right. It's sunset where you are in New Hampshire.
It is, and it's especially dark today because we just had a big rainstorm. So I'm John Paduchak. You can find me at johnpaduchak.com. Our digital agency is called Targeted Net Solutions.
Targeted
Net
Solutions. Okay.
Yeah, and you can find us on Facebook. I run the 30-day live video challenge and local marketing strategies on Facebook, our two Facebook groups.
Very cool. 30 days.
And along with, of course, the one that you and I have, which is health broadcasting.
Health broadcasters. Yeah, it's the group. It's also the page, but we'll be talking about that in the not too distant future. Yes, group and page, health broadcasters for all those doctors and other healthcare professionals, nurses, nurse practitioners, and others who want to extend their reach, expand their practice through live video broadcasting. Because if it ain't live, your practice might be dead.
Could be.
Hey, so let's talk about messaging today. Our title today was referring to the idea that a lot of people are not expanding and extending their reach through live video broadcasts, and that people may be muffling their messages by simply not going live.
For sure. Absolutely. So it's funny because we were talking about this earlier. What we're going to talk about today, and the fact that I've been going through working with a good friend of mine, helping him to get his message out on live video, and kind of starting to begin to walk through the steps with him. And it's funny because he has another coach who's been saying the same thing that I've been saying to him of, hey, get out there, get doing lives daily and start, getting your message out. And it's a great way to be seen. It's like our own little private television station, but very few people utilize it because of the 4 factors that stand in their way, which we talked about a lot.
Give a review again for those people who haven't been with us previously. The 4 factors.
All right, I'll do that. So the four factors that usually stand in.
I'm sorry because I've got this. I love natural light, except for now when it's just no matter how hard I try, I have a strip of light on my face. But I'm not a stripper.
That I knew. I wasn't concerned. Not at all.
Glad.
Oh yeah.
The 4 factors.
The 4 factors. Yeah. So the main 4 factors that stand in people's way of getting started with live video is they don't really know what equipment they should be using, or they're concerned about it, and that's super simple. I will probably talk a little bit about that today. And then the second thing that really gets in their way is the technology. Again, those two kind of combine together, equipment and technology. And then the third thing that gets in their way is, what am I going to say? I'm going to get talking, and then what am I going to talk about? And then the fourth thing is they're afraid to have their face out in front of people on camera. They're not sure that they're camera ready, but it's funny. I talked to a lot of my friends in Britain, and they say, we couldn't pull off in Britain what you guys do, because most people just wouldn't do that. They're not like camera ready to just jump out in front of the camera, which is kind of funny.
Is it culturally? Because as far as the society is concerned, they're kind of reserved.
Yeah. So we were talking about that because one of the things that we do, you and I both, working with our agency clients, is helping them to start their own show or get traction with live video. And he's like, man, I don't know. I don't see a lot of people doing that over here in Britain, especially.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's like, going to some remote section of Africa or the Amazon and saying, you're a shoe salesman. It's like, hey, unlimited opportunity. Nobody wears shoes.
I know.
So
yeah. And it's funny how many things we see. We see political events covered on live video. We see news events sometimes covered on live video now before the news agencies get a hold of it.
Yep.
We see so many things that happen here first, and it's actually better than we knew people in the day who paid tons of money for TV spots and, infomercials and all of that kind of stuff on television and radio. And you can really get the same thing for free right here on Facebook.
Well, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, you're right. And the other thing is that your audience can be precisely targeted to your super fans, or at least to the ideal target market of your particular customer or client avatar.
Yeah, very, down to the street level.
Yeah. Well, in fact, geo-targeting is one way you can really take advantage of your Facebook Lives, your YouTube Lives. Even, now I'm still debating about how much traction we're getting off of Twitter with Periscope, but we're still sending this through Periscope. And the reason for that is you see a lot of people who are looking at live events on Twitter. NFL games are being broadcast on Twitter, and people will watch. So,
and when anything goes wrong in our neighborhood, power goes out, something happens with the police, we get a lockdown situation or something like that. Yeah. The very first place that comes out is through Twitter.
Yeah.
So, it is a great news transmission source, especially for local news like that.
Yeah, I think the other thing. So to me, this is not Alex Mendozian because I'm using Post-its, but it's like go live or go home. I would say you could also go live from home because now you don't have to travel all across town to a local cable broadcast station or to your local network affiliate. In fact, networks are having a heck of a time getting viewership nowadays because people are turning to platforms that offer live video. And if you're not putting out your message there, you're missing a huge opportunity for people to engage with you. And I think that's the most important thing. If you're just pushing a live video out and not having a conversation with people, you're really missing out.
Yes.
It's
important to have calls to action, to ask questions, to really try to make it as conversational as possible and get people involved. If you're not getting them involved, you're really not doing yourself a lot of good.
Yeah, and conversational selling really is the best way to sell someone nowadays. And delivering valuable educational information is the first step. I've had a couple of clients in the last few months who are toying with the idea of live video, but we're going to encourage them to get there. These are mostly businesses, newer businesses from very ambitious entrepreneurs who want to expand or launch things in the new year.
It's a great way to kind of double down on your marketing right now. We often talk about the fact that here we are, COVID is kind of taking away a lot of things from business owners. We don't have the budgets we once had.
Right.
What a great way to kind of get the word out. Costs you nothing really, except, a little time, a little energy.
Well, and you can take, some of that PPP money or EIDL money and put it into some ads to extend the reach that you would get organically. In fact, we seem to be rewarded periodically by putting a little money behind it to extend beyond what we're actually paying for into organic views.
Yeah, very much so. And, a lot of people think or mistakenly think that it's going to cost them a lot of money to do advertising on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And in reality, most of us just have like $5, $10 a day budgets.
Yeah.
To get started with an ad set. And then maybe we put a little more behind it, when we see that it's become very successful for us.
Yep. Well, in developing, I think the one thing let's talk a little bit about is developing your audience using live video. I think one of the things that scares people from doing it, you alluded to a little earlier, which was the whole thing about the technology, the tech barrier.
Yeah.
Is there a technology barrier?
There is for some people.
Well, and how do you remove it? I remember we used to talk about here's a broadcast studio in your hand. And if you don't know how to operate your smartphone, maybe it's time for a YouTube tutorial.
Yes. In fact, I would say equipment-wise, that's probably the very first place to get started with.
Yeah.
Start with your PC and a good camera, like one of the Logitechs. And if you can't do that, start with your iPhone or Android phone. Preferably start with your iPhone or Android phone. You don't require anything as far as, except maybe earbud microphone setup.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be doing a lot of stuff outside. But really, it's the best way to get started.
Well, and Yeah, even with your earbuds and the little microphone there, I noticed that, especially when I broadcast from the beach on a windy day, I still have to cover over that microphone a little bit because the wind can sometimes get too strong.
Yeah, if you remember the time that I was camping at the lake and we did that, and I've got like the thing inside my hand talking, but it was fine. It worked out perfectly fine.
It does work as long as you shield it a little bit.
You just got to shield it and block the wind.
So there really are just a lot of tips and tricks to making a live broadcast work, and we both have enough experience that we like to help people out if they have any questions. In fact, if you do have questions now or in the future, just drop them in below this video and we'll get to them. You can also send us private messages on the Facebook page, which is The Marketing Happy Hour. So,
or even comment on this after the fact.
Comment here, comment during, after, whatever,
after, while we're doing it, whatever works.
Exactly. Well, so whether it's tech issues or other things, I mean, I'm actually just using the resident microphone. I'm using the Heil microphone, but I'm using the camera from my MacBook, the little green dot that's there. I'm actually not using a fancy schmancy camera. In fact, the iPhone or an Android has fancier cameras. You can see these suckers here. These are fancier than what is in my 5-year-old MacBook.
But the one that's in your Mac is really good. So
it's not bad.
If you have a Mac computer or laptop, the cameras typically are really good. If you have a PC, the cameras typically are horrible. So, if you have a PC and you're trying to do live video, don't rely on the built-in camera. It is probably miserably awful. And the best thing you can do is, pick up one of the Logitechs. There's ways that if you've got a DSLR, there's ways out now that you can get a little bit of equipment to be able to use that as your camera and use it as your webcam. There's some software. I'm trying to find out the name of it, but I just heard recently there's software for your iPhone that you can use to use it as a camera.
Oh man, I would love to do that. I found that using the Logitech camera for me, I just kept experimenting with it, and it never came off the way I wanted it to because the image was so bright. I think I've got to download new software to make the Logitech a logical choice for me.
Yeah, and it's super hard right now during COVID times because we got our kids attending school. Everybody's gone out and bought out pretty much every Logitech on Amazon, eBay, and there's knockoffs that look just like the good Logitech cameras. Yeah. So before you get wrapped into that mess, if you can't find a real legitimate Logitech, start out and use your phone.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I would love to try that phone thing. If you can send me the link later.
I'm trying to find out the link for it. I just heard you could do it the other day, so I was looking for the link for it.
Find it. So the messaging with live video is one of the things that people need to understand is it's the repurposing of those live videos. And my wife Maggie, whom you know very well, it just came out with her Mexican tamales course, the authentic and easy Mexican tamales course, which you'll find a link there on my personal page and at Mama Maggie's Kitchen.
And I love tamales. I'm a happy client.
Yes, exactly. Happy tamales. Happy tamales to you too. And but when you think about live video, she just went live on Facebook a little while ago and got some engagement and some people coming in, and that piece of content can actually be repurposed on other videos. But what she did on Tuesday, Tuesday was yesterday. Seems like it was 3 days ago. She went on Instagram Live on her phone. And that was amazing in terms of the kind of engagement that she got and the number of sales that were driven from a live video broadcast. Usually it's hard to sell stuff on live video broadcasts. Right. But I will say that if you make an emotional appeal, which she did because all these recipes are her grandmother's recipes, an emotional appeal kind of tugs at people's heartstrings and they remember their own grandmothers or they want to create new family traditions or whatever it is. And I'm just finding that for some people, Instagram Lives are one of the best ways to go. And the audience skews younger, as we've said over and over again. But I have a couple of clients who are looking at attracting people, say, 25 to 50 or 20 to 45. And sure, they may miss out on a couple of people at the higher end of the age range, but live video is a great way for people to reach folks on Instagram if it's part of your overall strategy.
Yeah, so that's a great segue kind of back to the technology.
Yeah.
One of the things that we see quite frequently is if you use Facebook Live or you use Instagram Live's own software to do your live video, it tends to get more traction as opposed to StreamYard and BeLive. They're easier in a lot of ways to use StreamYard and BeLive and a Zoom, but not as effective. You're much better off, I think, using a combination of the native app that allows you to go live to whatever platform you're on, as well as using a StreamYard. Because we want to do group-oriented things, and we want to have guests that we can chat with, and we want to do some show and tell, and actually share a screen and that kind of stuff. And BeLive and StreamYard are much better applications for that. So easiest way to get started is start out with the native application. You can typically have a second person on all of them. We've done Instagram Lives together, done Facebook Lives together. That's no problem. There used to be some issues with having the second person up on Facebook.
Yeah, I actually gave up because of that. I either started with a screen share and it stayed in screen share, or I started with my face and I stayed in face mode. So
now I haven't been able to kind of nail this down yet, but I think that the Facebook Live 2-up is still limited to use on the iPhone. I don't know that it's available on Android. You can't do it on. You can't do it from your PC.
Yeah, well, just before the top of the hour, we did the Facebook Live on my wife's phone, and that worked really well. But we went horizontal. We're so used to doing Instagram and TikTok and all these others, and we're always stuck in the horizontal mode.
Yeah, it's nice to have a little more space.
It is nice, because especially she likes to gesticulate. She likes her hands, just like when Troy has been on. He likes to move his hands around a lot. Hey, and one of the things to do, I think one of the greatest problems that people have is they may believe that they have a face for radio, or and I can tell you from personal experience that I never used to like having my picture taken. I hated doing recorded videos for the very reason I didn't like the way I looked. And on top of it, I never liked the way I sounded.
Yep, same problem.
And so that was a major barrier for me personally in going live. And over time, what I found, you may have found this true, John, for you, is that going live develops your confidence insofar as you're going to make mistakes at some point, and you're going to recover, and people are really forgiving when you're going live versus a recorded video.
Extremely. I've seen people who are, so self-conscious about their looks, their image, go live and watch it just fade away. It becomes a non-issue anymore. And it's one of those things where you just kind of have to feel the fear and do it anyways. But that's the only way really to get through it. The other way that you get through it faster is by having somebody else to broadcast with you.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons, we do this. It is easier to come up with things to say, to bounce ideas off of another person.
Yeah, because I can drink a glass of water and you can still talk, almost like Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
I know. Who's the dummy now, huh?
Who is the dummy now? Anyway, you were talking while I was drinking, so I rest my case. Anyway, just kidding. Hey, so one of the things I remember too, in terms of having confidence, and that you have to adapt an attitude. So now I'm the dummy. You have to adapt the attitude of you're going to play the game of being a broadcaster. And for me, it's always the idea you want people to play full out.
You do.
Play full out. The reason, what else did I write in here? Oh yeah, embrace your mistakes was the other thing.
Oh man, that's for sure.
Yeah, because you'll always learn from making mistakes. Think of the time. Think of when you first started to learn how to drive. You had that conscious incompetence of what was going on, but the more you practiced and the more you worked with your learner's permit, eventually you got your driver's license. Didn't mean you were a perfect driver, but you did get your driver's license, and then over time. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, you became an experienced driver. And the same thing is true with using live video to reach your potential audience.
And I have a group, the 30-day live video challenge, where all we do is make mistakes.
We make a lot of mistakes, but it's a safe space.
It's a safe place, and we use it to test things. And before that, I actually ran a group on Google Plus for Webinar Jam and for Hangouts, where we did the exact same thing. We tested out new software. We ran tests with other people in the group. It was a whole lot of fun. And so it's really the only way to get on top of things and see what really happens is to go ahead and try it out. So,
well, and once you do try these things out, you get more and more comfortable with them. I know at the very beginning when we were doing this, it was back in March we started, I think.
Yeah.
And we tried Be Live, we tried Ecamm, we tried StreamYard, we tried Restream. We tried, I think it was either, I want to say 8 or 9 platforms that we played with until we found that we personally liked StreamYard amongst all of them, in part because we could broadcast what we're doing right now, which is we're in 8 different locations right now, from YouTube to a number of different groups and pages.
Not Twitch.
No, we're not Twitch. We gave up on Twitch. And the only reason we gave up on Twitch is we had a lot of trolls and negative comments from those Twitch folks. And I mean, hopefully they're really nice or nicer than they used to be. But I have seen people on Twitch doing cooking classes and things like that. And people seem to be relatively nice to them. But then again, we're not privy to all of the comments all of the time.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I don't know either. So
I've seen people get rude on Facebook too. I mean,
we've kicked people off of our broadcasts on a number of different times. Trolls. We have the role of booting the troll. That's my little thing. Oops! I just dropped. Embrace imperfection.
Embrace imperfection
by dropping and picking it up again.
Yeah, and when you get started, man, there's going to be a whole lot of imperfection.
Oh yeah,
you got to embrace it because it's going to drive you nuts.
And the
other
good
people
news.
Acceptable of it.
Yeah, the good news is a lot of times nobody will be watching you when you start out. So it's the perfect time to make your mistakes, as opposed to 6 months later when you may have an audience of 200 or 1,000 or 5,000. That's the thing. I love this one. 3 enemies. So in terms of developing your live streaming muscles and the attitude that, you'll fail fast, you'll make mistakes, but it's okay, you're constantly improving yourself, are 3 things. So the 3 enemies are safety, certainty, and security.
Yeah, we don't have any of those.
None of those. Because if you hang on to these, you will be embracing and creating mediocrity.
That's for darn sure.
Do you want to stand out, or do you want to be another same as everybody else? That's the question. And so I think a lot of people, probably one of the things that scares people about live video is they don't want to stand out from the crowd. They're afraid that if they go live, they're going to be one of those little gophers in whack-a-mole, and people are going to come and pound them each time they pop up in another live. Have you had any folks who are afraid of that? Because that's
I think the other thing that gets in their way too is not knowing what they're going to say, or being certain of what they're going to say. And I would say that the easy way to do that is come up with a couple of key things on whatever topic you're going to talk about that you're sure that people would want to know about, and then from there you can do 2 different things. You can go and search Google for the questions people would be asking you or looking for in the area you're going to be speaking in. And then you can also ask questions of the people watching and say, hey, what would you like to hear me talk about next? How can I support you? How can what would you like me to teach you next? And so that's another great way. You never really run out of information if you take that approach.
Yeah, I would say, to all you entrepreneurs out there and professionals, whether you're doctors or attorneys or accountants or whatever type of business you might have, what questions do you want answered in our live broadcasts? And one of the reasons I ask that is because we didn't even have a topic today.
No.
And so I just took a bunch of Post-it notes, wrote a few things. Oh, I just say no to mediocrity. I kind of like that one. I mean, if I had time, I could do something in Canva and put the red circle with the red line through. And by the way, too, that's another thing. You don't have to have fancy graphics. You don't need fancy graphics. You don't need anything super duper fancy. I'll tell you that, for example, for this broadcast, I took a previous image that we use in StreamYard, and that image was posted to the 8 different locations where we are now going live right now. And I just modified it a little bit to draw attention so that it looked a little bit different than normal, because our normal image for StreamYard was a lovely drink. I think it was a mojito. It had mint and all kinds of things in there, and then we just had the Marketing Happy Hour logo there. But now I've just decided to make it a little more innovative. You know, when we changed from Fridays to Wednesdays, I put a big old camel in there with a woman, and the camel was drinking from the umbrella drink. And just to let people know, we were going to move from Friday to Humpday. So
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Good day of the week for this.
What's that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said it's a good day of the week for this.
I think it is a good day of the week. You know, we play with times a number of different times, but fortunately for us, actually, you know, and your lighting looks better now. I don't know what happened. I think your camera must have adjusted to the change in light.
They do adjust with the change in light a little bit.
It had to.
I have the wide angle C930.
Yeah.
And it does tend to bring in light a lot better than the
think,
other one.
Yeah.
It's a wider angle.
I think I've got a 920.
Bigger f-stop.
I can't remember. That brought in too much light after, actually.
Yeah.
So when it comes to tech, remember the tech barrier. Tech barrier is not there because even the cameras are very forgiving.
Yeah, and don't let the tech barrier get in the way. So, for instance, the easiest way to get started, start with your phone. So start with your iPhone or Android phone, and then just stick with the native application for a while until you get to where you'd like to branch out or have guests or make changes when you need to.
Yeah. Well, on Instagram, your only choice is to go within the app, within the phone.
It is the only choice with Instagram.
And on those longer ones, you can send them to IGTV, for example. And I can tell you that our experience has been that IGTV is a great place to repurpose videos. Even if you have horizontal videos, you can take them, make sure you're centered when you're doing horizontal videos, because you can take them and you just cut the sides off and essentially create a horizontal video that looks really good on Instagram, or should say IGTV.
Makes
and
sense.
Square videos too. Square videos are ideal for just your Instagram feed.
And typically when you're doing any imaging, any video, any photographs, you want to make sure that you're using the rule of thirds and give yourself space on both sides anyways.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more significant things to think about. I was going to check because one challenge with StreamYard, it doesn't show what's going live in our groups. So I'm getting notifications. It's also going to turn off your notifications on Facebook so you don't get distracted.
That's probably not a bad idea.
I think that would be a great. It's sometimes so confusing. So I go to the groups here. In fact, why don't you give a few more tips or so while I go back to explore our groups to see if anybody's, because I'm seeing people are watching, but they're not coming through StreamYard, which is the one limitation I see.
Yeah, so let me stay on the equipment subject here. Then
that's fine. Yeah.
So I was talking about equipment with my friend Ed the other day because we've been going through some different things with him doing lives, and I said, don't make things too complicated. The only equipment you might want from the start is you might want you don't need, but you might want, because it just will make things easier for you. They make these great little clamps and tripods for your camera. It's like a gooseneck lamp clamp. I use these when I go camping all the time. When I do my lives with you, Doc, I put them on a table, and I can just leave my hands, leave my phone hands free. So a little tripod, a little gooseneck clamp thing like this, those kinds of things work out really well as like first pieces of equipment to get started with.
The only challenge I have with a gooseneck is sometimes it's a little hard to get the thing level.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Can be a
little bit. I mean, like, who is it? Pat Flynn created this one for vloggers, which was gosh, I can't remember. I think it was about $100, but you can get these gooseneck things dirt cheap. It's a good way to start.
I think mine were only like $9 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very cheap. The little tripods are super cheap too. They're like $12 or something like that.
We had some amazing equipment when Maggie went not live, but she did a recorded series for Kingsford Charcoal and Walmart, and Master built the grill making company. But they sent some amazing equipment. I mean, the tripods were awesome. And the video cameras were amazing too. The quality was definitely there because of the lavalier mic and that type of stuff. I mean, I find sometimes lavalier mics are great when they work.
I know. I've got a number though that I've had problems with.
Yeah, I had ones where I made a really long extension cord into my phone. Those actually work pretty well. Yeah, but then it restricts you. If you want to move around, you're really conscious, like the old time singers and bands, when they had the corded microphone and they would trip over their microphone if they weren't careful. You don't see that much nowadays.
Yeah, no, you don't see that much nowadays either. And a lot of the Bluetooth headsets and microphones and things are great too, but they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, I think the cheapest lavalier microphone setup I saw for remote was the one we were using a couple months ago, and I think it's like the cheapest I saw was about 150. So it had a little connector that goes to your video camera, and the other one was doing that. Was it RF or Bluetooth? That's a good question.
I got a Rode one, I think wired. It was around. There's another couple pieces that go with it as well, but I want to say it was maybe $70-$80.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, and that's a nice wired one. The Rodeos are great. Rodeo Lab mic.
The only thing that I didn't like about, like, I used the Rode, which were great, but the only thing I didn't like about it was I kept losing that little, what did Troy call it, the dead cat? I lost the little foam thing on the top a number of times. Somebody needs to come up with a product. All of you innovative people out there, just come up with a product that is nothing but a series of little foam things to protect the microphone from wind. That would be really great.
Yeah, the cat fur ones work the best if you're going to be out in the wind.
Yeah.
Real windy. The foam doesn't work as well in that.
I've never seen somebody really doing a remote with a big old fuzzy cat one as a lavalier.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. So speaking of hard to tell,
I don't know, like under the collar.
Yeah. Speaking of hard to tell, anything else you want to talk to people about today about extending the message? I think part of it might be also publicity, like publicizing in advance your live broadcasts and staying on a regular schedule.
Yeah.
So people know when and where to find you.
I think the regular schedule is the most important of all the things.
Yeah.
Try to stay on that regular schedule. Pick a time every day that you're going to go live and stick with that time or a set of times.
Whoa. Hello. What was that? Were you announcing your next broadcast?
No, you're starting to think I'm going to a Red Sox game or something.
It sounds like
top of the ninth.
I thought you wanted to do the 7th inning stretch.
I know. We could all use one of those.
Take me out of the ball game. Hey, so one other thing, publicizing, you can announce to people in different platforms. The problem is there's a certain decay on the number of people who can see your particular announcement depending on what platform you're on. Twitter, it's like, what was it, 3 minutes, or no, was it 28 minutes max or something like that? And then it just fades. It fades into the infinite abyss, which is why a lot of people will retweet their announcements. I've seen that over and over again, particularly over the last, I want to say 6-7 months.
Yeah, the nice thing with this is if you schedule them ahead of time too, it makes a big difference, because then people see on your timeline that you're going to be going live.
Well, and what about scheduling so that you can drop the links into other groups? I know that Troy's Live Event Marketers is one we dropped this into, and a lot of times I do it the day of, like maybe 2 hours before or 3 hours before. What about the wisdom of dropping it in maybe several days before and then reminding people?
More people are going to see it if you drop it in earlier, of course.
As opposed to my last-minute methodology of the procrastination.
Fly.
What was that?
But that's the way we fly.
We fly. Yeah, we fly on the fly, shooting from the hip, off the rails.
But that's okay. It's better to do that than not take any action at all. Even it's just the way that we work sometimes.
Hey, we will be having some guests back and all. I got a message from our friend Cam Jennings today, who said that because he has multiple product launches that he's been doing between now and the first of the year, he's made himself scarce, but he expressed an interest in coming back. So we'll just see if he has to be really nice to us. He's going to have to bribe us now. So
then of course we had Ed last week. which was
Yeah, Ed was really interesting. I'd like to see what kind of progress we can bring him back to see what progress he's been making, and maybe we can even talk. We could do a screen share and even look at some of his lives, even if he has some short ones that are 1 minute long or 2 minutes long. We can look at it and suggest some improvements. That might be really interesting.
It would be interesting.
Live case studies with a guinea pig. We're going to volunteer.
So I'm seeing some comments coming in. I can't see who the comments are from.
Now I see.
Facebook user.
The funny thing is, it's Facebook user. So the challenge is
from one of the groups, obviously.
Yeah, it's from one of the groups. You need to sign on to StreamYard before we can see who you are. But we love the fact that whoever you are currently commenting.
Yeah, so we appreciate that. And so, you're absolutely right. Commitment is hard for some people.
Yeah.
And that's why we started the 30-day challenge, because, it really takes 21 days to start a new habit. And that also helps with commitment. And mentioning your broadcast casually during the week, that's always a good idea.
Yeah, I think, it's one of those things where we are we're probably guilty of not promoting as much as we need to. I think
we're guilty of that.
Yeah. And even promoting your broadcasts through even small ads that you might be doing, where you're doing, $5 a day or something like that in advance of your broadcast. That just occurred to me now. We could spend $5 a day for 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah, we could.
And that might grow our audience.
We can grow our audience with a little boost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was listening to one of my mentors the other day, and she was talking about growing your page so that you can run ads to get more people to your page of your ideal customer or your avatar, and then eventually inviting the people who comment from your page or who are members of your page into your group, which I thought was a brilliant strategy to improve the audience for your live broadcasts.
It's a great idea.
So as we say, marketing is always an experiment, and we're just going to keep playing with these things. You'll probably see us doing some Instagram lives. And John, I remember you said something, you were going to test something a few weeks ago. Was it with YouTube or? Yeah.
Facebook, and I tested it.
How'd that go?
Not so great.
Okay.
We got to test it again. So what I tested was the 2-person Facebook with Ed, and Ed wasn't able to get on. So I don't know if it's an issue of
try with me. I'll be
Ed being new at it, or so we got to try it.
I'm more than a willing guinea pig. I think we're going to try testing a lot more stuff now in the next few weeks, so that as our audience does increase, we won't be revealing so many of our fabulous failures.
Right. I do want to start doing more stuff on Instagram.
Oh yeah, more stuff on Instagram. I think that's one of the biggest things. Oh, Terry.
Yeah,
Terry gives us a big howdy. See, Terry has actually logged on to StreamYard, where she can be visible. So whoever you are in the anonymous Facebook user, we're going to encourage you. I'll find you. Believe me, I'll find you, because I've only got 8 places to look. Actually, not 8 places, because I've only got 6 places to look. I'll find you and encourage you to log on to allow StreamYard to post your picture, so that we can acknowledge you on air live, and we'll have even more engagement and interaction with you.
That's right.
And give you shout outs to your own live video broadcasts.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty much to the end here. I'm not running out of gas, but I think we've covered just about everything right now.
No,
play.
That's all that matters.
Play. Yeah. Don't be a lurker. There's a lot of you who are lurkers.
Embrace your mistakes.
Let's see, who is this?
Who?
Oh, anonymous Facebook user again.
They're anonymous Facebook user again. Whoever that is, whoever you are, thank you for participating with us today.
Rest is best, or test is best?
Rest is best. I think we could both use some rest.
Yeah, I think we both need rest, because we had the launch of Maggie's tamale thing. It was just that it took a lot. I think it took a lot out of her with the live broadcasts and everything. But I will tell you once again, I mean, we'll talk more about Instagram Lives, but I'm convinced Instagram, TikTok, a number of these different things. I mean, TikTok's really isn't live broadcasting, but you can repurpose things. And I will tell you that the Instagram Live, if your demographic fits into that younger, say under 50 or under 45 demo, most of your audience may actually be there with Instagram accounts. I know some people who are completely off of Facebook because they just hate hate Facebook or security issues or data issues, or they're just not fans of the whole political scene, who still use Instagram.
I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but I'm still here.
Well, and the thing is, yeah, I know. Well, that's because we use Facebook for business, and I think that's one of the most important things. If you're running Facebook ads and teaching people how to go live on Facebook and things like that, it really is a great place, particularly skews to an older demographic. But you know what? What's really funny is that, all these people allegedly the youngsters all jumped off of Facebook and onto Instagram. I found a lot of 20-somethings on Facebook these days.
God. Yeah. Of course.
So
I think we missed one of the most important things I just got thinking of as you were talking.
What was it?
And that is, we're talking about all the Facebook pages for business.
Yeah.
And so many times, we look at all these pages and they have rather sparse content.
No kidding.
Yes.
I think of all the ones who I've targeted for, and I'm now doing social posting services, which are pretty low cost. I mean, they're under $200 a month.
Right.
And particularly the target, which has been pretty interesting, are people who they've had nothing since 2015, 2016, or 2017. Yeah. So how do you go 3 to 5 years, nothing on your business Facebook page?
I don't know.
It gives the impression to anybody who's researching you, and we know this.
You're not in business.
Or you don't really care about people.
Or you don't really care about your business.
You don't care about your business. So stuff may fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Just say no to things falling through the cracks on your business.
So one of the easiest ways to create content for your business is to take photographs, take videos, do live videos. Those are great ways to, and most people want to know more about you, more about your business. Those are the things that attract them to you in the first place.
Any business. Yeah. I'm convinced more and more with the branding clients I've worked with is you need, no matter how professional you may be, and no matter what kind of a Fortune 500 image you may want to project for your one-man accounting firm or your 2-person chiropractic or dental practice, you need to humanize your brand because people buy from people. And one of the easiest way to show that you are a people too is to go live.
It is. And a great simple way to make content that they're going to enjoy. They're going to get to know you. They're going to get to associate with you, and they're going to feel like they know you, and then they come to see you.
You can ask questions live. I can't tell you how many social media gurus and internet marketing 8-figure people that I've been able to engage with live with questions that I would have had to pay them hundreds or thousands of dollars per month to get answered.
Me too.
Most people are lurkers. So don't be a jerk. Stop being a lurk. It's not working. It's not lurking well.
Stop lurking.
It's not work. It ain't working if you're just lurking.
That's right.
There we go.
There you go. That's better.
Rhymes with gherkin, and that's pickles. And sometimes we're in quite a pickle when we do go live. So
that's true.
I think I'm starting to get a little delusional here. And we've done about 45 minutes. I think that's good to put a hard stop on this thing. Hey, so anything that you want to mention, John, before we put this one to bed?
No, I think we've covered a lot today.
We actually have. We might be even to repurpose this content now that I think about it.
Very possibly.
Yeah. We need a good editor, though. And I know 2 right now. So, and if you want to volunteer your editing services, we're more than happy to respond to you in this comment section. Anything else as your light is fading?
No, my light is fading.
I think we're good. All right.
Pitch black out here.
It's what?
It's pitch black out here.
You got great light for pitch black.
Yeah.
There must be enough
pitch black in my.
There's enough ambient light coming to you from whatever you've got in your room that makes this work. Wow.
Yeah, it's got like a small stick lamp.
Yeah. It's all it seems to take. If you put another one on the other side, you probably would be perfectly fine. I think Troy does that setup.
Over here.
So, yeah. All right. So with that, we're closing. I would say, go live or go home. More than that, just play with the thing. You're in a perfect opportunity right now with the pandemic to solve your problem of going live by just playing on these platforms. And we're more than happy to guide you if you're a healthcare person.
Over to reach out.
Casters. Oh,
What?
we have something coming for those folks in about a week or so.
Oh, we do have something coming for those.
I completely forgot. When you get involved in all these other course promos and
I know.
promos and stuff, I forget.
We forget our own course promo.
Keep your eyes
We get our
peeled.
own course.
Keep your eyes peeled. We have our own course coming out on doing live video broadcasting, but we're narrowing it down to healthcare professionals. It's going to be coming into the Health Broadcasters page and the Health Broadcasters group. And it's going to be killer. Not killing your desire to go live.
Or killing your patients.
It's going to be some killer content. It'll kill your reluctance to go live, because we're going to help you. We're going to help you master the things that you need to do to extend your reach with live broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Build your practice. Build your practice with live video broadcasting. Okay. So with that, let's get out of here. And the funny thing is, my only drink was water today, and I don't. We usually tell people what our drink was. What is that?
Kombucha.
Oh my God! Do you drink the whole thing?
I do.
Wow, I have yet to try that. I'm not too much of a fermented guy, except I do love my sauerkraut. So
yeah, I'm a kombucha fan.
Okay,
my new vice.
I'm heading out for more sauerkraut. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week on the health. Sorry, not the health one. That's the one we're promoting. We'll see you next week on the Marketing Happy Hour at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, noon Hawaiian time. Maybe you guys can eventually drink like next month when you're 2 hours. 2 hour difference. We'll be 2 hours from you at that point. So spring ahead, fall back into this broadcast next week. Yeah.
Make a live video. Tell us about
we'll learn more about live video next week, and watch out for a course that's coming to a theater near you. All right. Bye for now. See you next week.